Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and we are here to talk about Love is Blind season 1 through episode 8. And in this episode, we're going to be breaking down Kenneth and Brittany and Kenneth's emotional disconnect from her. Was it because he found out when he met her that she was not a blonde? Because, honey, downtown in the pod, he absolutely imagined that she was. Let's get into it, shall we? Oh, yes, we shall.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie. Everybody needs
with a whoop whoop and a boop boop
auntie
boop.
that everybody needs.
You can make this up.
Now, you know that these are some crazy motherfuckers.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie.
So why even fuckers?
Aunties and lies, sweet old auntie. Aunties that cry. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Y'all, they need to take and throw this whole entire cast away of Love is Blind season 6. I told y'all from day one, from the begin, that I thought that this was going to be the worst cast ever, and it is. I got time tonight, honey, to discuss this. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And we're starting off with Kenneth and Brittany. Now, Kenneth, in my opinion, thinks that he is higher and bigger, honey, than what he really is. Kenneth is a principal at a school, and Brittany is a school teacher. And it appeared that everything was okie dokie, y'all. It appeared everything was fine between the two of them until it came down to the get down and the get down. This man was able to talk a whole lot of yickety yak yak, don't talk back downtown in the pods, honey. But when it came down to making it do what it do, he could make it do what it do. Honey, when I saw that his twist needed to be retwisted, I said, child, she is seeing him for all of the hair flaws and everything else. Now, while they were in the pods and everything, they, hit it off well. It appeared that the two of them basically had already locked each other in and made a decision that, they was going to be together. And so, they had talked about their Christian principles and all that kind of stuff. And, they had made agreements very early on that, they weren't going, they weren't going to have the van rocket, if you know what I mean. So, she's all enthralled with him. He's into her and everything. He's back in the pod giving, that principal advice to all of the boys and the girls and all of that kind of stuff, right? And so he decides that he is going to propose to her. It's very sexy. It's, romantic. And she is happy. Now, the two of them had already made a decision that they were going to talk about race. Now, love is supposed to be blind. Now, I know that, certain people break the rules and stuff like that, and they, make a decision that they're going to talk about, what is going on. And I want to say that, in certain situations and circumstances, you can tell by the tone and the inflection of someone's voice what their race could possibly be. But Brittany had already let the boy know that, I have had my share. I've had my share of some black men now. Okay. She's already divulged, okay, that she's had her fair share of black men or have dated black men and all of this kind of stuff. But, we want to believe that Christianity or whatever is going to be a binding force. And so this is Kenneth's first time, dating a white woman, right? Because he seemed like he black to the, to the 10th power. And so when they sat in the pods and everything, and they began to describe themselves to one another in so many terms, he indicated that he thought that she was blonde. And so I was like, things that make you go, I was just wondering whether or not this was going to be an issue for Kenneth, because here you got this black man, right? And we're going to tell the truth. If you are new to Auntie's Advice, welcome. Over here, we say, or Auntie says, what you're thinking. But you tell me what you really think downtown in the comment section, replay and live. But over here at Auntie's Advice, we have a tendency to tell it like it is. We say what other people thinking, but not what they're willing to say. Whether it be right, wrong, or indifferent, you have an opportunity to say what it is that you want to say downtown in the comment section, and we all good in the hood. So anyway, Kenneth had already mentioned to us that he felt like she was blonde. She felt like he was stout. She said, not like fat and round and, buttery stout, but, just stout, right? Because she's listening to the inflection, the baritone all up in his throcuses, okay? And so we see that, as we all know, Love is Blind on Netflix. You go and you go in these separate things. You all behind a pod. You don't see anybody. And then you got the reveal day. And so they're nervous about this and all that. So they come out and he sees her. And in my opinion, he was let down. Because in his mind, he had already imagined her being a blonde. Although, okay, now let me bring their pictures up, okay? Let me put my glasses on, okay? Because we're going to tell the truth out here in Auntie's house. Although Brittany was beautiful, which he kept reiterating because he was stunned she wasn't what he wanted or what he had imagined. We all know that men are attracted by vision. Women were attracted by the heart and sometimes by the wallet. But men are visual creatures. And here Kenneth had sat there and thought that Brittany was a blonde. So imagine what he thought all them days in the pod, all those days when he was talking, having dinner, lunch, and whatever else he was having. He imagined her to probably look like this. But instead, she looked like this. Now, this is what Kenneth looks like for those of you all who have been watching. Big old man, big old hips, big old wide hips, okay? Now, she imagined him being stocky, but she probably didn't imagine him to being over 6 feet. But she was happy with what she saw allegedly. Brittany says she craved this man. She was head over heels in love with him, and she was ready to tackle whatever life brought them. Really? Okay. So again, as I've mentioned, the two of them are saying they're Christians. They're going to wait. They're head over heel in love with each other, and they're going to wait to consummate the relationship once they get married. Now, of course, we all would know with Love is Blind, they all go out on a honeymoon for a couple of days, and this is when they get to bond with one another. And so we see Brittany and Kenneth trying to recreate that connection that has happened downtown in the pods. And so we see them, going on honeymoon and everything. And he is very accommodating to her. She was sitting out there with the girls and they were having a conversation, and she was sitting in the sand, and he came over, honey, with the chivalry of it all and brought her a chair. And everybody was like, oh my God, girl, he is a man, boo. He is, oh my God, he is like that guy. Damn. Why didn't I pick him in the pause? Bitch. Okay. So she's like, oh my God, he's so accommodating. As I was getting ready and everything, to meet all of you all, he came over and he slipped my princess slippers on my feet and everything. He's just so accommodating and sweet to me, bitch. And he began to talk about, how she was going to pull his weight and he was going to pull his weight and all of that. But honey, after a while, he got the bitch. Don't move too fast, Auntie. Let's slow down. So she is talking about, all these things that he's doing, and he is having this very deep type of very wide baritone voice. Okay, he's just wooing her. So on a night when all the couples got together, our girl AD came over and had a real conversation, if you will, with Kenneth about race. Her question to Kenneth was, Kenneth, have you ever had that conversation with her about whether or not she's going to be able to take care of a black child? It's one thing to date a black man, in AD's opinion, but it's another thing to have a baby and raise black children. So Kenneth did not have this conversation with her about this. As intelligent as our principal is, why wouldn't he have that real conversation with her? Bitch, he didn't. He didn't. Now, she's talking to him, right? They black on the same side. She's having a real life conversation that I think that any sister girl may possibly have with somebody, depending on the conversation that happened that we did not hear. Now, I know that some people probably think that it was inappropriate for her to step over that line. But guess what? At the end of the day, they've been in these pods collecting data. So she probably figured that this was some of the data that he would have collected, because on a normal basis, right, you would think that they would really have that true conversation. I, Auntie, have dated outside of my race, and those are real conversations that I have had. One of the gentlemen that I was dating, who was Spanish, we had those real conversations, and I decided in those conversations that we absolutely could not be together and raise children, because we didn't believe on fundamentally just on religion. So those are real life conversations. So while some people may think that she stepped over her bounds, she probably assumed that these real conversations had already taken place. And I don't blame her for having that conversation and bringing that to his awareness, because this is real. While Brittany has dated black men, has she ever considered that? And if she has, why doesn't Kenneth know what her feelings are about this? And so when we see Kenneth and Brittany, he brings up the conversation that he had strategically, methodically with AD about it, because now he realized, I really do want to know what she feels about, having and raising a black kid. Now, Brittany automatically got offended or implied, in my opinion, that AD was being a messy ass black woman. And I didn't see it that way at all. At all. I saw her as bringing him to attention to attention, so much so that he did have that real conversation with her. And she was like, I'm hoping that she's not coming from a malicious place. I'm hoping that she's coming from, a place of awareness. Well, she was. And the thing about it was Kenneth connected immediately, okay, with what she was saying, because the two of them were talking about Black love, right? There are conversations that people have within their own groups about things that are really real, right? Or things that are applicable to your race. It just is what it is. And so she was very comfortable saying Black love to Kenneth, which she did not necessarily may have felt comfortable saying that to Laura, or even Chelsea. It just is what it is. And so when he has this conversation with her, now he begins to bring up the conversation, my people. And I just was like, where the hell is that coming from? My people, what does that mean? And he repeated it over and over and over and over again. And I think that he realized that, first of all, he hadn't done his due diligence. Second of all, he's in uncharted territory, right? He's never dated a white woman. And so now this has brought the reality to his face, right, to the forefront, that there may be an issue with people in, his family accepting this. And that is something that you have to prepare, right? If you're going to be in a serious relationship, you got to prepare other people for that. And they're not. They're going to come out, first of all, when he comes back home, they're going to be shocked that he's even with her, right? That he even chose a wife during this experiment. And secondly, that she's white. This is the first white woman, okay, that he's ever dated. So again, he's in uncharted territory. And so when they're having that conversation, he let her know and reassured her that AD was cool. She wasn't coming from a negative place or anything like that. She is all for the relationship. This conversation took place. So now here they are. Now, one of the things that I think happened with him, first of all, he is not emotionally mature. As a Black man coming up in the South, and we're going to keep it a buck 100. As a Black man coming up in the South, being a principal of a school, he's had to work harder, longer than anybody else in order for him to be in the position that he's in. His whole life has been about working to prove who he is. So we see him now with this woman that now there's a new awareness. How does she fit in with my people? My people are serious about me. My people are this. My people are that. And he's making decisions about the relationship with her based on my people. Instead of saying there is a connection that we had in the pod, and she is willing to date me, I'm willing to date her, I fell in love with her, and so on. But now he's allowed my people, which means Black people. It means them Black people in his life. Where did I, what? Okay. Are you genuinely asking me that question 1,000 pieces, or are you trying to be facetious? Let me take a pause for the cause. Are you genuinely 1,000 pieces asking me that question because you genuinely don't know? Or because you like, what do you mean? What is it that you want from me? What answer do you want? I will absolutely blame the South because here in the area where I live, it is common, very common. Where my sister lives, my brother lives. In the South, it is not common. So I ain't seen nothing that data won't prove. It is not common to see African Americans in the South be principals. Okay, well, that's your opinion. Thank you very much for that. But guess what, sweetie? You come up here and you live in the District of Columbia, you live in Maryland or Virginia, you're going to see Black people be the majorities, and I'm sure you don't see it in the South. But I will pull up the stats while you're here. Let's pull up the stats. Okay, shall we? Oh, yes, we shall. We're going to take a pause for that cause. Let's Google it. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Okay. So it says, in the nation's public schools, Blacks make up 10.4% of all principals. Blacks made up slightly 18.5% of all principals in urban schools, down 20%, but only 9.8% of all principals in suburban schools and 4.6% of all principals at schools in rural areas. Case closed. Next case. Absolutely, distinctly, D. Absolutely. We can be as optimistic as we want to be. We can be optimistic as we want to be. I'm going to try not to block her. I swear to God, I'm trying not to block her. Because this is just ignorant. This is ignorant. Do you hear what I'm saying? Despite the fact, whether it's South or North, did you hear what the fuck I just read? Blacks make up 10.4% of principals, period. 10.4% of principals, period. Whether they rural, city, urban, well, I don't give this ignorant to argue for nothing. 10.4%. That leaves what? $89.6%. What the fuck? That's so ignorant. But I'll be talking about the South. Okay. Let's take the South out. Blacks make 10.4%. I'm sorry. And what now? Any more stats come? This man has pressure on him. We saw as soon as he got back to the mainland, what was he doing? Working. He is working. First of all, I do believe that she gone, so don't block her, or do I need to block her? Because I ain't got it to do, ain't gonna do it. I was trying to be nice to see where it was coming from. I got it right down. She deleted her messages, but I just went on and blocked her, Ray Dalla. Wait a minute. She on the wrong live sleeve. Somebody needed to tell her. All is World CAQD 1978. Thank you, boo. Okay. Ray Della said, peace out. Maybe that's why she 1,000 pieces. Ain't nobody got time for that fool-la-la. That's common sense. That's common sense. That's just common sense. Anyway, she was trying to believe in this man, trying to honor him, respect him. They get go, and he don't have anything to say. And I truly believe that every decision that he made was about who he found out she was. Number two, I really believe he had sucked himself into what he thought or who he thought, what he thought she was going to look like. I think that he thought, and some people think, some men think, some women think that if I got this person on my arm, if I have this person on my arm, I can make it do what it do. But he didn't count up the cost. And when they were on the boat, he was looking at her with this weird look. And then they turned the camera, which made it look like he was looking off into the distance. But I think that he was really looking and saying, I can't do this. But he was going on with it. And then the lack of touching, the lack of affection. We don't have to have sex in order for you to show me affection and to be intimate with me. We can have intimate conversations. We can have intimate this, we can have intimate that. But that was even lost. He had no connection with this woman after a while, like y'all at all. He was there, but he wasn't there. She was trying to, when they was riding on a boat and everything, he got real quiet. He realized there's really no connection between me and her. There's no connection between me and her because he kept bringing up to her, my people. And I thought it was completely inappropriate, okay, of him to keep saying, my people, my people. What do you mean, my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray? Or you talk about my people as in all black people? Like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about your tribe? Like, where are you going with with this my people? I thought that was completely inappropriate for him to say. Totally inappropriate for him to say, my people. I thought that it put a racial divide between the two of them that he act like wasn't there. I ain't going to stand up there And I know many of you all who look like me, you don't even want to be in a conversation with somebody that say, you people, my people. That people word doesn't fly well. So why he was using it, I could not understand. But I absolutely thought it in fucking appropriate. Period. Point blank poo. It had no place in the conversation. If he meant my family, say my family. If he meant my friends, say my friends. If he meant my tribe, say my tribe. But when you start talking my people, you people, we people, that's an issue. He had already surmised that this ain't gonna work. This isn't gonna work. And he probably told them. Now, if he felt like later on, after having a conversation with AD and then having a conversation with her, because she really felt like AD was trying to be a messy black woman, and she wasn't, not in my opinion. Because she was like, okay, I mean, I thought she was a nice person and everything, I know y'all was having that conversation, black person and black person. Okay, there's going to be many conversations that he's going to have. He didn't count up the cost of being with her. And so he was just with her. Instead of reaching in and saying, you know what, I don't have this to do. He treated her the way that he felt. He became distant with her. She even told him, your whole voice, your demeanor, everything has changed. When they got to that apartment, bitch, and he was telling her, you cook, you do this, while his big ass is sitting on a cell phone, totally disengaged, no emotional intelligence at all. I said, I would have left that fucking night. That would have been the last night he'd have saw my big round ass. He wouldn't have saw me after that. Period. What you put in here, just scrapping? 14.4% of school principals are Hispanic or Latino, and 11.6% of school principals are Black or African American. And girlfriend want to argue that fact. Okay, whatever. Thank you, just scrapping. It was sad to see when she was trying to talk to him, almost plead. She talked to the girls prior, and she was like, we've decided that we're not going to have, sex or anything, right? We're not going to do, fornication, as the church calls it. She said, but I told him, you can still grab me, you can hold me. He wasn't even interested in doing any of that. These men have got to be real about how they feel about this. They got to be real about how they feel, because they're not into these women. They're just not. So now what? She has that conversation with him that he can't have with her. He said he going out. He doing what he do with the woo-woo and the boo-boo-boo. And he tells her, she said, you want to order out or you want to cook? Oh, no, you cook. Motherfucker, what? See, I ain't going to be this. We're not going to be like this. She didn't even feel valued by him. We've never seen him grab her up as a big man, lift her up off of her feet, swing her around and make her feel like I'm the only girl in the world. Never. We never saw him make her feel that way. So she had no other choice than to tell him, I'm done. She's in the middle of a conversation and he's, you know why? Because his status, the work that he's put into his life is more important. He don't want to lose his spot. He want to still be the principal. People probably drop balls and all of that. That happens. But he probably couldn't even afford for a ball to be dropped. Let's just keep it a buck. And I really believe because she wasn't blonde hair and blue-eyed like he imagined her to be, he was gone. He hadn't asked all the right questions. It took AD to say that to him. It took AD to bring that to his awareness. He had never dated a white woman, and he wasn't ready to date one. And instead of him being real and saying, I don't think that I can date out of my race, this is uncomfortable for me on these levels, he just treated her like a piece of and he had Molly maid service, bitch. She was in there to cook and clean. And when we're around people, I'm a front. Like I'm this chivalrous man. But when we behind closed door, I'm eating carry out and you're at the counter crying. And I tell you, I can't do this because if you are not hungry for me, if you feel like you can't crave me, then, I mean, every time she brought something up, give me grace. This my first time. Give me grace. I don't know nothing about this. Give me grace. Fuck grace. You want grace, mercy, and some more? What else you want? Everything she said to him, instead of him taking responsibility and accountability, give me grace. You got to understand. No, I don't have to understand nothing. You a grown-ass man. You go out to get your head twisted, and you gone for hours. You gone out for hours? Okay. All right, mother. And you coming here with something to eat? I ain't see him bring her nothing. Selfish, inconsiderate. Dude, go ahead on and be the principal. Get you a little bit every now and then when you can. Hey, just scrapping said only 13.9% of the population in the USA is black, unfortunately. Okay. Thank you, boo, for the facts. Thank you, just scrapping for the $9.99 super chat. How is Maymay? Maymay is recovering. Thank you so much for asking. I was going to do a video to let you all, give you all update on Maymay, but she is recovering. Thank you so much, y'all, for y'all prayers. This got to go a little further, okay? It's going to go a little further, and then, once we get that all resolved, then I'll be free to talk about what happened to Maisie and how Maisie is doing. But right now we are treating her at home, and she was down, I guess maybe about an hour and a half ago. She started being back normal, back to herself. But just keep her in your prayers. Thank you so much. I will go for the $10 super chat, Auntie. I have no idea. Auntie, you have no idea how much I was refreshing to get in this live. Oh, wow, what's wrong? What happened? Hi, cousins, Auntie. I appreciate you. I'm not yelling, just screaming out of my excitement. Okay. Thank you so much, Olga. Thank you. I appreciate you, boo. So y'all let me know downtown in the comment section, What y'all think that it was about? I really do believe that Key is one of those guys that had to really pull himself up by his bootstraps, that being a principal is, something that he's most proud of. But I also think that he was not ready to be in an interracial relationship. I think that the pressures, and even thinking about the pressures of being in this interracial relationship, was just too much for him. He absolutely appeared to be emotionally, child. And he made so many excuses and concessions for himself. And the minute she says, I'm not craving you, he's out. He was looking for an out, in my opinion. Again, y'all let me know downtown in the comment section what y'all think about this. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Olga, and just scrapping for the super chats. And y'all, until we meet again, y'all be safe out there in those streets and in the water. Bye, y'all.